And now to McDonald's, which saw another month of worse than expected sales in the U.S. and globally.
Nationwide boycott against McDonald's.
McDonald's just lost more money in 3 months than most countries make in a year.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this emergency executive board meeting. As all of you are aware, our company is currently facing one of the biggest reputational crises in recent years. Following the actions taken by our Israeli franchise during the Israeli-Palestine conflict, our company has become the target of global boycott campaigns. This issue has affected not only our reputation but also our business performance in several regions. Today's meeting has three objectives. First, we need to understand what happened and identify the key factors that contributed this crisis. Second, we need to analyze the impact of this crisis on our global operations. And finally, we need to discuss suitable strategies that can help us reduce the risk and strengthen McDonald's global position. Before we move on to possible solutions, I'd like to hear an update regarding the current situation. Ms. Alisha, could you brief to everyone?
Thank you, Ms. Zafira. Based on our latest reports, the crisis began in late 2023 when our Israeli franchise, Alona Limited, independently decided to provide free meals and discount to the Israeli Defense Forces. Although the decision was made solely by the local franchise, many consumers viewed it as an action representing the entire McDonald's corporation. Within a very short period, the news spread rapidly through social media platforms across the world. Soon after that, the Boycott, Divestment and Sanction Movement, or BDS, encouraged consumers to boycott our restaurant globally. This caused many customers to stop purchasing from McDonald's, particularly in Muslim-majority countries.
Thank you. That certainly explains why the issue escalated so quickly. Ms. Amira, from your department's perspective, which regions have been affected the most?
Based on our operational reports with Zafira, the biggest impact can be seen in the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia have experienced a noticeable reduction in customer traffic. Several restaurants have reported lower daily sales compared to the previous month. Although the restaurants operate independently, many customers still associate them with the action taken by the Israeli franchises.
I see. Did our local operators take any immediate action to address public concerns?
Yes, they did. Several local franchises immediately released official statement explaining that they are independently owned and managed. They also clarified that they were not involved in the action taken by the Israeli franchise. They said that some franchise operate contributes humanitarian aid to Gaza to demonstrate compensation to the Jewish affected by the conflict. These actions were intended to rebuild customer trust and protect their local reputation.
If I may add, Ms. Zafira, although this initiative helped reduce public criticism in certain markets, consumer confidence has not fully recovered. Many consumers continue to associate the McDonald's brand with the incident because they view the company as one global organization rather than separate franchise businesses.
That's a very important point. Even though the decision came from only one franchise, the public perception affected our entire global brand. Ms. Azrin, why do you think consumers reacted so strongly?
In my opinion, Ms. Zabia, the reaction was driven by several global business factors. Consumers today are more sensitive and critical aware. They are no longer buying products based only on price or quality, but also on whether a company action match their values. Because of this, the action of one franchise can greatly affect public opinion on their entire corporation.
Interesting. Would you say that social media also contributed to the severity of this crisis?
Absolutely. Without social media, this issue might have remained a local controversy. However, because information spread almost instantly today, millions of people around the world become aware of the incident within hours. As discussion continues online, public pressure increased rapidly. This made it much more difficult for McDonald's to separate the action of one's franchise from the reputation of the entire company.
That explains why this crisis developed into a global issue rather than a remaining local one. Another major decision taken by the company was acquiring all 225 restaurants in Israel. Ms. Akila, could you explain why that decision was made?
Certainly, Mrs. Zafira. The acquisition was primarily intended to regain control over the McDonald's brand in Israel. Previously, those restaurants were operated independently under the franchise system. So, by acquiring them, McDonald's headquarters was able to strengthen centralized management and reduce future reputational risk. And this decision also demonstrated to investors and customers and that the company was taking the crisis seriously.
Thank you. From what we have discussed so far, it is clear that the crisis extends beyond sales performance. It involves customer trust, corporate reputation, and global business stability. To better understand the root causes of this issue, let's now examine the business concepts that explain why this crisis becomes so significant. Ms. Azurin, please continue.
Thank you, Ms. Afia. After reviewing the situation, I believe this crisis can better understood through four important global business concepts. This concept explains why the incident escalated beyond a single franchise issue and eventually affected McDonald's global operation and reputation. The four concepts are consumer antisemitism, political consumerism, reputational risk management, and political force. Together, this concept helps us understand why consumers reacted so strongly and why the crisis spread so rapidly across different countries. It is alright with everyone. I will begin with the first concept, which is consumer antisemitism.
Okay, please proceed.
Consumer antisemitism refers to how social, political belief, historical conflict, and religious perspectively influence consumer purchasing behavior. In this case, our Israeli franchise, Loyal Limited, provided free meals and discount to the Israeli Defense Force. Although the decision was made independently, many consumers saw it as their position as the entire McDonald's corporation. This led many people, especially in Muslim-majority countries, to boycott McDonald's because they believe supporting the brands conflicted with their values and beliefs.
So, if I understand correctly, the issue wasn't really about our food and our service quality. It was about how consumers perceive our brand.
Exactly, Ms. Safia. Consumers were making decisions based on their emotion, political belief, or moral values rather than product quality. This shows that into this business environment, perception can have a greater impact than reality.
I'd like to add something, Zafira. From the marketing perspective, we observed that many customers did not differentiate between McDonald's Corporation and its franchisees. Once they saw the McDonald's logo, they assumed every restaurant shared the same political position. That misunderstanding can significantly damage our brand image, especially in countries where public support for Palestine is strong.
That's a valid point. Samira, did our local restaurant experience this misunderstanding directly?
Yes, Ms. Zafira. Many restaurant managers report that customer question them about the action taken by the Israeli franchise. Even after explaining that McDonald's management operate independently, many customers remain unconvinced. Some customers even believe that purchasing from any McDonald's restaurant means supporting the action of the Israeli franchise. So, for the impact, our restaurant is with lower customer traffic and declining sales.
I see. This clearly shows how one local decision can affect an entire multinational corporation. Let's move on to the second concept.
The second concept is political consumerism. Political consumerism refers to consumers using their purchasing power to express their political or ethical belief. Today's consumer consider not only price and quality, but also whether a company action align their values. If they disagree with a company's perceived position, they may stop buying its product. This happened during our boycott crisis, as many consumers avoided McDonald'S to express solidarity with Palestine, making their purchasing decision a form of political activism.
Ms. Alisha, have you seen this trend before, or is this something relatively new?
We have certainly seen it becoming more common over the past few years. Consumers are increasingly influenced by information shared on social media. Whenever a global issue arises, people quickly discuss it online, share opinions, and encourage others to support or boycott certain brands. As a result, purchasing decisions are now influenced by ethical considerations as much as price and quality.
You say that social media accelerated the crisis?
Without a doubt, social media allowed information to spread worldwide within hours. Unfortunately, negative news usually spread much faster than official corporate responses. By the time we issued our statements, many consumers had already formed their opinions.
I agree. Our restaurant team will receive a question from the customer almost immediately after this become viral. Although our employees explained that the local franchise had no involvement, many customers had already decided to boycott us.
That certainly highlights the growing influence of political consumerism. Let's continue with the third concept.
The third concept is reputational risk management. This refers to how multinational corporations protect their reputation during unexpected crisis. A company's reputation is one of its most valuable assets, and once public trust is damaged, recovery can take years. During the crisis, McDonald's Malaysia and Indonesia quickly issued official statements explaining that they were independently Israeli franchises. They also provide humanitarian aid to Gaza and recruit customer trust and show empathy. This action helped separate the local business from the controversy while protecting the McDonald's brand.
Ms. Amira, from your point of view, were these actions sufficient?
They were certainly necessary, Zafira. However, rebuilding trust is much more difficult than protecting the first choice. Although many customers appreciate our humanitarian aid to Gaza, other remain skeptical because they continue associating the McDonald's brand with the original incident. This demonstrates that reputational damage can continue even after corrective action has been taken.
I agree. In today's digital era, reputation management isn't just about issuing one official statement. It requires continued communication, transparency, and engagement with stakeholders. Only then can public confidence gradually be restored.
Excellent point. Let's proceed to the final concept.
The final concept is political force. Political force are external political events that influence business operation and financial performance. Although McDonald's maintains political neutrality, international conflict can still affect the business because consumers often associated. Although McDonald's maintains political neutrality, international conflict can still affect the business because consumers often associated with multinational corporations with geopolitical events. This Israel-Palestine conflict clearly shows this as consumer behavior change, leading to lower consumer traffic in several countries and negatively affecting financial performance.
So, even if we remain politically neutral, geopolitical events can still expose our company to significant business risks.
Exactly, Ms. Safira. This is why multinational corporations must continuously monitor geopolitical developments and prepare effective crisis management strategies. Being politically neutral alone is no longer enough to protect global brand.
May I add, Zafira? I believe that this discussion clearly shows that geopolitical is no longer a political issue. It has become a strategic business issue. If we fail to respond effectively, similar crises may occur again, in the future and have an even greater impact on our global operation.
Thank you, Ms. Akila. Now we have identified the root causes of this crisis. Our priority is to determine the most appropriate strategies to minimize its impact and strengthen McDonald's position in the global market. Ms. Akila, could you present your recommendations?
Sure, Mrs. Zafira. Our first recommendation is global portfolio capital regulation. So this strategy focuses on reallocating our investments towards more politically stable and economically strong markets such as the United States, Europe, and selected countries in East Asia. These markets generally offer more predictable regulations, stronger purchasing power, and lower geopolitical risk. So by concentrating our future expansion in these regions, we can better protect in the company's long-term profitability while reducing our exposure to unstable markets.
Thank you. This sounds like a practical approach. Ms. Alisha, what are your thoughts on this strategy?
I believe it is a reasonable strategy because stable markets usually provide more consistent consumer demand. However, I don't think we should completely neglect developing markets. Countries like Malaysia and Indonesia remain important to our global business despite the recent boycott. If we reduce our presence too much, customers may perceive that we are withdrawing from these markets, which could negatively affect our brand image.
I agree with you. From an operational perspective, many of our historically developing countries continue to perform well under normal circumstances. The current decline is mainly due to the boycott rather than poor operational performance. Instead of reducing our commitment, we should continue supporting our local franchises while being more selective with the future investment.
I share the same opinion. Diversifying our investment is important, but our reliance on only a few stable markets could expose us to new risks in economic conditions change in those countries. Maintaining a balanced global portfolio would provide greater long-term stability.
Excellent points. So rather than avoiding higher risk markets, we should manage our investment more strategically while continuing to support our existing operations. Let's move on to the second strategy.
Our second recommendation is to accelerate the expansion of our global digital ecosystem. So this includes strengthening our mobile application, digital ordering systems, and global loyalty program. By increasing digital engagement, we can better understand customer behavior through first-party data. These informations allow us to offer personalized promotion, improve customer experience, and encourage repeat purchase. Additionally, digital services such as delivery and mobile ordering provide customers with greater convenience.
That sounds promising. Ms. Aisha, how could this strategy improve our relationship with customers?
Digital platforms provide us with direct commercial channels. Instead of relying solely on social media, we can communicate with customers through our own mobile application. We can share accurate information, promote humanitarian initiatives, introduce personalized rewards, and strengthen customer loyalty. Over time, this may help rebuild customer confidence.
I agree. From an operational standpoint, digital ordering also improve efficiency, restoring the process, order more quickly, reduce waiting time, and improve overall customer satisfaction.
Ms. Azuri, do you foresee any concerns regarding this strategy?
Yes, Ms. Safira, although the digital ecosystem offers many benefits, it also increases cybersecurity risks. As we collect more customer data, we become more vulnerable to cyber attack and data breach. Furthermore, implementing advanced digital infrastructure requires substantial financial investment and continuously maintenance. Without proper cybersecurity measure, the strategy could expose the company to significant reputational and financial risks.
Thank you. It appears that digital transformation is necessary, but it must be supported by strong cybersecurity and careful financial planning. Now let's discuss on our final strategy.
Our final recommendation is doubling down on standardized common innovation. Rather than introducing too many temporary or localized menu items, we should focus on improving the quality of our core menu products. For this initiative, such as the Best Burgers program, it helps ensure that customers receive consistent quality regardless of whether they visit McDonald's in Chicago, Tokyo, or Frankfurt. So maintaining consistency strengthens our global brand identity while improving operational efficiency.
Ms. Amira, what advantage do you see from this approach?
From an operational perspective, standardizing our core menu simplifies restaurant operation. Employees require less training, inventory become easier to manage, and food operation remain consistent across different countries. This improves efficiency while maintaining product quality.
I agree that consistency is important. However, I believe we should still allow some level of localization. Consumers in different countries have different tastes and cultural preference. For example, menu items that are successful in one country may not necessarily appeal to customers in another. Maintaining a balance between global consistency and local adaptation would be more effective.
I completely agree. Our intention is not to eliminate localization entirely. Instead, we want to ensure that our core product remain consistent while still allowing local markets to the flexibility to introduce menu items that suit their customers.
This sounds like a balanced approach. Consistency strengthens our brand, while localization ensures that we remain relevant in different markets. Before we finalize these strategies, I would like us to consider the potential risks. Ms. Azrin, would you brief us?
Yes, Ms. Samira, there are three major risks we should consider. First, over-dependence on selected markets. Relying too heavily on a few countries mid economic downturn or policy change would significantly affect our business. Diversification remains essential. Second, cybersecurity threat and high technology costs. Expanding our digital ecosystem requires major investment, and cyber attack or system failure could damage customer trust and our reputation. Finally, failure to meet local customer preference. While standardization improve efficiency, ignoring cultural difference and local food preference could reduce customer satisfaction and weaken our competitiveness.
Thank you. Ms. Aisha, do you have any recommendation to minimize this risk?
Yes, Ms. Zafira, I believe continuous market research is essential. Understanding changing consumers' preferences allow us to maintain a balance between global consistency and local adaptation. Regular communication with customers will also help us identify emerging concerns before they become major issues.
From my perspective, we should also strengthen collaboration with our franchisee since they understand their local market best. Their feedback should play an important role in the future strategy decision.
I agree with both suggestions. Combining strong global strategies with local market knowledge will make our organization more resilient against future geopolitical challenges.
Thank you everyone for your valuable insight. Today's discussion has helped us understand not only the causes of the boycott crisis, but also the strategic actions needs to strengthen McDonald's global business. Based on our discussion, we will proceed with the three proposed strategies while ensuring that the associated risks are carefully monitored and managed. We will continue supporting our local franchises, strengthen our digital capabilities, maintain the quality of our core products, and remain responsive to changing geopolitical conditions. I appreciate everyone's contribution today. If there are no further comments, see you in the next meeting. Thank you everyone.